Hey there, everyone, and welcome to Space Age. I'm Exterminator, and thank you for joining me on the beginning of our journey here. I am so excited. It's finally time where I can, actually show you guys the gameplay and get into this. And this is obviously going to be our first episode of our playthrough here. And you'll notice we're in an already built base. So I want to just start off really quick by covering this. So I could have started just from the beginning, from scratch, but I thought through it, and there really isn't a ton that changes in terms of like from when you start the game until launching a rocket. There are, of course, a lot of quality of life upgrades and such, but I will go over like the main differences and the quality of life stuff I took advantage of so far in this playthrough. But the majority of the new features and such, you're not really going to be getting or at least utilizing until you get to basically this point, maybe a little before this point for something. So there's of course like train interrupts, there are parameterized blueprints. I haven't really used the parameterized blueprints yet. I have used train interrupts a little bit, which I will show you, but you can see, I mean, the base is fully built out. It's a big base, so this is a 200 science pack per minute ish base. It's not exactly perfect. I'm actually quite happy with the results, though, to be honest. I spent quite a bit of time trying to make this look nice and work well, but it's not perfect. But you can see we have some trains going, but like, we don't have mega base level anything really, or anything like that. So we're only using train interrupts in a pretty basic form. We haven't really done any parameterized blueprints. I haven't not launched a rocket yet on purpose because I wanted to do that with you all, because that's where things start to change. But before we actually get into the fun of things and, actually experiencing the space age stuff, like launching, a space platform stuff into space and getting that all built, which we will do this episode, I want to cover a few awesome changes that, you can take advantage of with the update. And this doesn't even have to be space age. Like the stuff I'm going to show you just comes with the 2.0 free update if you already own the game. So one of those things is the fluid changes. And the fluid changes, actually, one of the more recent additions to that change they did is they made it so that water is like significantly, I'm already saying this backwards, that you consume less steam to make water. They basically, or less water to make steam. So they basically reduced it by a factor of 10. So like one water now makes like 10 steam, I believe. And what this changes is, prior to this in 1.1 and before, you were kind of capped out on like 20 boilers long unless you added more pumps together and stuff and like connected them, because you were actually limited on water throughput. Like once you get to 20, after that there just wasn't enough water. But with this change, it allows you to build these massive long steam setups, and I could actually go longer than this, but the red belts of coal is actually will only support this many. We're not fully utilizing our power now, otherwise this would be almost empty by the time it got to the end. But this is super long. This is 66 long, but you could go even farther. You technically could go out to, well, like 200, because it was like one pump supported 20 and they made it less by a factor of 10. So you technically could go 200 long. You'd obviously have to do some trickiness with belts, but that's just something I wanted to showcase. And the same thing would apply to nuclear too. Obviously you would hit like heat pipe limits and stuff like that, but this does let you do these type of things instead of having to build super wide with it. You can just build these massive long setups. So that's kind of a minor thing, but what's even more important, and oh man, this was actually such a godsend when I was building this oil setup. You can now finally, after so many years, you can now rotate and swap fluid inputs. So prior, if you had a chemical plant like this, or let's use one that's actually facing the right way, and can I actually just make one here real quick? And by default the oil in the water would just be like a certain direction, so just by default this is gonna be like this, right? But you can now swap it with the keys H and V for horizontal and vertical. So V basically just swaps the thing itself, which is not as useful, but H allows you to actually swap which input it is. So this allows for setups like this, which are kind of impossible or really, really weird and finicky and difficult to do before. But now you can have these back to back, because I basically just like swapped it so the oil lines up and the water lines up, and we can do this all the way through. Excuse me, all the way through. And same with the cracking. So I swap these so that like these four line up, and then for water, for light, and so on and so forth. And you don't have to do it like this exact way. You can kind of do whatever setup you want, but the gist of the matter is you can now swap these fluids, which is just absolutely amazing. Oh my gosh, this just allows for like such cleaner, more compact setups. I love this so much. And then I would put in also a night vision. They changed the night vision. I'm not sure I'm really a fan, to be honest. This is what it looks like. It's a little too orange for me, but that's not actually something I was planning to show you. But for anyone wondering why I'm not using a night vision, I'm not actually really a fan of the new like color mode of it. I kind of just like having lights, I suppose. And the other thing I want to go over before we get into launching a rocket is train interrupts, because this is a huge thing, right? This is extremely powerful, but it's also not super intuitive or easy to get into, in my opinion. So I'm just going to quickly go over that with you. And there's so much more you can do with these than what I'm doing, by the way. It's still taking me a while to get used to this. It took me even a while just to set this up correctly. But I will be making a tutorial on the train interrupts once I actually really get them under control. But if we click on a train here, so like this is a coal train. Well, let's do something different. Let's do like an iron train. So first off, I've started by naming my stations with just the icons, right? And if for some, if you don't know how to do this, you basically, when you go to name a station, instead of typing in a thing, you just click this, and you can select the icons, and you can name it with just icons. So I started with that, and you'll notice that like all of the same station, I mean, I only have 4 here anyways, but the 2 iron ones I have are named exactly the same. This is nothing new, really. I've also set them to be, all of these are train stop, train limit 1. But then what we do with our interrupts, so this is where things get interesting, and I'm going to try my best to explain this, but essentially you can have the game auto decide, like automatically assign the train to the correct station based on the cargo it's carrying. So all of our outposts, every single one of our outposts, well, I should say every single one of our ore outposts is labeled like this. So if we go into the map view here, you'll notice all of our ore outposts are named exactly the same. Our oil outpost is named close to the same, but with a tanker, just because otherwise we'd be having trains go to the wrong place if they all use the combined icon for the ore. But we go back into here. So this goes there, and it's pretty straightforward, right? It just basically goes to the outpost and has a full cargo weight condition. But then this is where the interrupts kick in. So you can see this says temporary because this is not actually normally on the schedule. And you can see down here we have 2 interrupts. So we have a storage interrupt, which I will get into after, but we have this one here. So if I go into edit this, we have a couple things going on. The first thing is the naming. So again, I go in here, and over here, it's actually not as clearly marked as I'd like, but over here in the unsorted, you have all of these different icons and conditions. And I've chosen this one. This one I would say is potentially the most versatile. This is, or maybe just the most used. So item parameter. It's a wildcard signal. So when used in schedule interrupt, it will match the first item that passes all weight conditions and replace the signal with that item. This also replaces the rich text tag in the target stop name. So what happens with this is when you're using this, now it's not necessary, well, it is kind of necessary to be in the name, but at least for continuity. So I selected this, and then I selected, a requester chest, and that's the name. And then what we do is we have a condition. So when the condition is met, the interrupt will activate and append all the targets to the schedule as temporary stops. So just normally this is like kind of inactive. It's not on the schedule. However, once there's full cargo, which of course would only happen at the, well, it would happen here too, but it's not going to continually like break it or anything. But so once it's at the outpost and it fills up a cargo, it's going to trigger this interrupt, right? So that's the condition, is full cargo and the delivery is not full. And you'll see I'm using this signal, and it's going to replace this with whatever item is in this train. So whether it's full of copper, whether it's full of coal or iron or stone, if I had a stone one, it would replace this signal or this icon with the ore. So it's going to say once the thing's full and, for example, the iron ore station is not full, meaning that there's not a train at it, then it can go, right? Because I don't want to send a train here if there's already a train in the station because I don't have a stacker here. And you don't necessarily even need a stacker at your drop-offs anymore with this, most cases. And you can just tell it where to go, which is a simple part. You just say, okay, well, go to, again, using this wildcard signal and the requester, and then the condition for it to, its wait condition is just empty. So I hope that makes sense. So if this has iron in it, everywhere this signal is, it's going to replace that with iron. So it's going to then, you can see the name is now iron requester, which matches this station name. Yeah. So you can see that matches this. And then it's going to, its weight condition is it needs full cargo, and it needs, in this case, the iron requester station to not be full. And then the target is, of course, the iron requester station, and its weight condition is empty. And this will just apply. You can see this one is exactly the same, except it's copper. And then the coal would be coal. Now, the other thing I've done is create like a little weight station kind of on the track itself. So if we come down here, you can see these are all just named buffer chest. Buffer is just what I decided to use for a weight like icon. And so the condition, again, is destination full or no pass. So what this is saying basically is like right now I have more trains than outposts. And that's on purpose because if I had just one train per outpost, like if I had 3 ore trains, then what's going to happen is like some are only like, 3 could try to all go to coal, or even if I have these set to 1 train limit, you could have I actually did encounter an issue where like a lot of our iron stations were just remaining empty because trains just kept going to like copper and coal and not iron. So what I've done is having almost double, I think, the amount of trains as I do outposts. But then when the train goes to leave, and this actually can apply for anywhere, right? This can apply going from an outpost to the drop-off or vice versa, from drop-off to outpost. Is if its destination is full or there's no path, it's going to trigger this interrupt, and the target is here. And then it's going to just have no wait condition. So basically what this is going to do is it's going to send it here, and then it's just going to constantly try to leave. And as soon as as soon as the station opens up, then it's going to be able to leave. You could do this with a condition. I messed around with this a little bit and struggled to get it to actually work how I wanted with any of these conditions, but I think there's a way to do it. It would just require a little more complex solution than I wanted to mess with at the time, but this does work. My stuff has been running fine with this. And then lastly, the oil train is basically identical aside from the fact that it's oil requester and the fluid tanker, because otherwise you don't want this going to a ore outpost, right? And then it just has the same exact buffer thing. It can go here, maybe a little out of the way, but no big deal. And then this is just the liquid one here. So if we go and just check this out, the liquid one is identical to this, just it's for fluid. And that's how that's set up. And again, you can do way more with this, but this is super useful because this saves me having stackers in my outposts, having stackers at the drop-offs, having to, assign every train a certain, like drop-off and stuff. It can just do it itself. And then lastly, you have the train groups. So this is super nice too, because if I, for example, obviously this can't go anywhere, but if I go in here and do change train group, I can select a group, right? So I have raw resource pickup with 7 trains on it and liquid pickup. And this group is going to give it the absolute same schedule as all those other trains I just showed you. So instead of having to copy paste or manually or whatever, you can just set your groups and you will be good to go. And it is a little bit, well, yeah. So it is a little bit weird because, like, I don't know why, but for some reason you can't make groups in here. I'm hoping they change this because you would think you could, right? But actually, how you have to make groups is like make a new group basically. So I could just say like test and then do this. Well, actually, well, yeah. And this is going to have the same setup as this, but then I could change it as I want. Or if you just put this down like fresh, you can see no group assigned. You could set whatever schedule you want and then assign a group name to it, and it creates the group. It's a little weird to me. Again, I think it would make sense to have it like be also creatable within the train group thing. I just want to double check I didn't break this. Okay. Still getting used to some of this. And then lastly, oh yeah, we have our elevator rails. So I've used them some places, like to bridge this lake because I was too lazy to landfill, or like here, I'm actually using elevator rails to cross this entire cliff area because I was too lazy to use cliff explosives, and also these look amazing, so I'm going to use them everywhere I can. And then we have like a little junction thing here. I should like put a radar over here. But we have this is all elevator rail. You can see the difference. So this comes over, it crosses over this track and then crosses over this track and is a tie-in for things to be able to get to these like buffer areas. And then it ties in here. We'll see that here in a little bit, but I'm using them pretty simply here. I don't have any like crazy junctions with them yet because it's just not needed. But you can see like even here, like I didn't want to like scoot this out, and I was like, oh well, this is a great opportunity to use elevated rails, and here we go, just boom, up over the cliff and then elevated all the way over to before the merge, and down we go. Super cool. Research wise, I've done most stuff. They added a lot of trigger researches, so like space platforms as well as many other things like uranium processing, I believe is one, is triggered based on an action rather than researching. So what we have to do to actually unlock this is send basically a space platform starter pack to space. So why don't we go ahead and do that? We're gonna first off turn this on. I turned this off so that we didn't make a rocket yet. And we're going to make some rockets. So if you watched my overview video, you already know this, but if you didn't, rocket cost has been reduced massively. It now only requires one of each of these items per rocket part craft, and it only requires 50 rocket parts now to make a rocket. So basically, is this actually 50? Yeah, yeah, you can see over there, 25 out of 50. So it was 100, I think, and then they reduced it, or maybe I'm just imagining things, but this is going super quick. So this only requires 50 of each of these items to make a rocket, but it may seem really, really cheap, which it is, but you need like thousands of rockets now. The other cool thing is you can actually have it skip the door opening and raising animation to be able to launch them faster. You can see a second progress bar going here. So it can actually like queue another rocket, which is super nice. So this one will sit here, and then if this is at 100% before you launch this, it will just like have the other one ready, and you can just skip the entire like door opening and elevating thingy. And then there's some new stuff in here. So the rocket silo acts as a requester now. It can just request things directly to it. And then it can also, mostly that's for requesting items for space platforms. We have none at the moment, but we will shortly. And if you tick this on, then basically it won't let you put items in here, but it will basically request things that your space platform is requesting. And it will make more sense when I show you this. And then you can do new space platform, which I would need a platform starter pack for that, which we're going to make. And then it has a carry capacity of 1 ton, and every item now has weight. So you can see every single item tells you how many you can fit in a rocket. And some of these are like pretty abysmally low. Like you can only send 100 belts at a time, which is kind of crazy. You can send 100 rails, which makes very little sense to me comparatively, but everything is going to say how many you can fit into a rocket. And we're going to go make some space platforms. So I've set this up for ourselves. There's no materials here. because I turned it off because I didn't want it crafting yet. But we're going to go ahead and connect that. Uh-oh. I don't have any storage chests. I always forget storage chests. Sorry, bots. So this is pretty simple. You basically get this from doing, from getting a rocket silo research, which is now only red, green, and blue science. You can get this super early. Like, guys, you don't even need purple or yellow science to get this, or military. And then this unlocks, obviously, the silo, the cargo landing pad, the space platform starter pack, which is what we're going to make, and then actual space platform foundation, which is what we're making now. And this requires, it's a simple recipe, but it requires 20 steel and 20 copper cable per platform foundation. And you need quite a bit of this. It's basically like the same like size as like landfill tiles or like flooring tiles or whatever. So we're making this, and if we go over here to the space thing, we need to make a space platform starter pack, which is 20 steel, 20 processing units, and 60 foundation. So while this makes its foundations super slowly, I am going to collect the rest of these materials. And they did make this a bit better. I think one change they did do is this trigger thing. I don't think this was a trigger thing when we played at the LAN event. And it was really not intuitive. Like, it took our team probably a good 10 minutes of like looking through and debating and like brainstorming how to actually get a platform to begin with. It was really not intuitive. I think it could be a little more intuitive still, but it is significantly better now. And, you know, I'm just going to walk you through it as well. So, you know, I showed you how to unlock it. And then, yes, you need this to make a platform, a first platform. You don't need this every single time you want to expand one. But every time you want a new one, you will need this starter pack, essentially, to begin a new platform. And this will craft. Wow, this is a very long craft, isn't it? 10 seconds a piece. Dang. Part of me wants to just like, if I had been smart, actually I could just like, oh dude, we're so close. I could just scoot this over. Actually, I could just do this here. Why would I not just do this here? Yeah, I'm just gonna do this here. I'm impatient. I want another one. I want to go into space. But yeah, I hope you guys don't mind that, you know, I've kind of jump-started our playthrough here. It just didn't really make sense to me to be having like 15 episodes or something building up from burner stage to this point when the general gameplay is not that much different. Like, you'll notice this is pretty standard. I did try to avoid a bus system. Like, a lot of this is direct insertion or direct flow. You can see like these circuits are just purely for this, some split off for this. I wanted to avoid a bus system because it's something I've used forever. I think it's a little dull at this point, and I wanted to do something a bit different. So I changed up the design of the base a bit, but generally this is like pretty standard. Like, none of the science pack recipes changed up until space science. Like, none of the circuit recipes changed. It is pretty similar. And again, you do get your quality of life stuff, which is fantastic. But, you know, I figured that you can kind of experience just on your own, or just wait. I don't know. I hope no one's like super upset that I like skipped the whole building the base thing. But I will tell you, it was not that interesting. You know, or at least not really different than what we've experienced for like the last, you know, however many years. And things are backed up because I'm not researching. We probably should research something. You do actually need pretty high physical damage researches now, because actually uranium ammo would probably be really good. Asteroids are scary. Asteroids are really scary, actually. And you do, trust me, you do not, especially if you're on the platform, you do not want to be trying to traverse through space without your platform being well enough equipped with turrets and ammo. Otherwise, you're going to have a very bad time. So I want to make sure we're prepared. Now, this first one we're building is not actually going to be a travel platform. There's going to be a stationary platform for space science, because space science is, you know, different now. Before, you would just launch a rocket with a satellite and you'd get space science. But now you need to do some other things. So if we find this here, you can see build asteroid collectors, which we'll do once we get up there. And then effects gives you this production of space science on a space platform. So you can now really basically only make space science on a space platform by collecting asteroids and then processing them and making the space science up there and then sending it down here, which does not require a rocket to send it down. It just requires you to send the like initial rocket up for that particular process. But what we will actually need is a cargo landing pad, which needs 200 concrete. Dang. Should probably make some concrete. I totally forgot about that. I was like so prepared. I felt so incredibly prepared for this playthrough. I was like, man, I built this whole base. I have all this stuff figured out. And then it's like the simplest things I completely forget to do, like make concrete. So we have brick here. We have iron ore here, which seems incredibly convenient. Yeah, we're just going to do this and then like turn that perfect. And we're going to make concrete. I need water. Just probably nowhere near here. Would I have water over here for any reason? Not really. Is there? Oh boy, is there somewhere else? That's a power pole. That's not water. I wonder if there's somewhere else I could get. You know, honestly. I changed my mind. I'm just going to collect this and, like, build the assembler over by the water and make it over there. That's what I'm going to do. And I don't fully have, like, all of these new recipes memorized, so please bear with me if I, like, make a few small mistakes. You know, it's basically like learning the game all over again. All these brand new recipes and stuff, especially once you get to the planets with all the new items, you know, it took, at least me, I don't know about you guys, but it took me probably like a good year or so to actually fully like memorize like the recipes for items in the base game. So I'm not quite there yet. You know, I've only had like 3 weeks. But we're going to go ahead and set this up, I think, just like right here and do that. And then we're just going to do this. Also, you have like your pipe visualizer, which is pretty sweet. Rhaegar did an awesome job on this. So you can mouse over and like see the different pipelines. And then also, if it's too long, because one of the changes I made for fluids is that if it's, I think its max reach is like 250 tiles. And after that point, it just like stops sending liquid through it unless you put a pump. So if you've reached that limit and there's not a pump to like continue it through, this turns red as an indicator, which is kind of nice. And you can also, there was a way, I thought. Yeah, there we go. Show pipelines. So I'm going to try to turn off everything else because this is really cool. You can now see your pipelines in your base, man. Isn't this awesome? This is so good. Rhaegar did a really great job with this. So you can toggle that on and off, which is super nice, but it's easy now to follow your pipelines. And they match the colors too, right? So like oil is gray. Not sure why it's not black though. And then everything else is color coded according to the material. Like it actually matches the color, which is super nice. But yeah, there's that. That was a distraction, but super cool nonetheless. All right, we need 200 concrete, so that's going. Let's see if we can at least get our starter pack, because we don't need that for the starter pack. So we're going to get our starter pack going here. And we're going to grab this, and we're going to make the starter pack. So it contains everything needed to set up a space platform foundation. So this is going to basically include, like, the hub to receive stuff up in the platform, and then, like, a very small platform itself to get you started. But we definitely need more of this, and we're going to need to send more of this up into a rocket. I'm going to cap this a little bit, though, because it is kind of expensive. And the nice thing is, with this being in provider chests, and the rocket silo being a requester chest, we can actually then request, like, we can basically remotely ghost build the platform in space, and it will automatically request those materials for us, and the bots will bring it to the silo, and when it has a full stack of it, it'll launch it. So there's a lot more like automation ability now, especially with the new remote view, because you can actually just remote view fully into like another planet that you're not on and just like ghost stuff down and build, and like you have access to the entire item menu and everything. and you can just build stuff. And as long as you actually have those materials like on that planet and available for robots, then it will build. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to put this in there, and then you can see this was grayed out. Actually, this is really interesting to me. Okay, so it lets you like do this. This is something new I've discovered. So it lets you do this. What happens if I do this? Okay, so we name our space platform. Is this like a bug? Can I just do this without, I don't know, we're going to find out together, I suppose. So we're not going to name it that. We're going to name it, we're just going to name it Space Science Gen. I know this is a really not fun name, but I'm not great with names. Let's put this in here. Make it a little more colorful. Planet, obviously Nauvis so far. Starter pack, create. And then we now have this. It wasn't created yet. You need to launch it. Okay. I figured it was worth a try, right? Rocket silo. Is this like, hold on. Oh, it like put me in map view all of a sudden. Interesting. Is this gonna make me create another one? Oh no, here it goes. Okay. They've changed the setup like a few times, so this is actually the first time I'm doing this with like the most recent changes. But you can see it's launching automatically. It's gonna go up, and then it's gonna give us a platform once it gets there. Man, that was a fast ascension through the atmosphere. So it researched this automatically, it researched this automatically, right? And you can see now we have our platform. Woohoo! So this gives us a super small platform and a space platform hub. And this is where you're going to actually like request all your items. We're also being bumped by a few asteroids here, but these ones are fine. So auto request missing construction materials. So this is where like if I ghost stuff up here, which I will do shortly, it will just auto request these down to these silos. And then you can assign, we obviously have logistic groups, which we've not messed with quite yet. And then this is your schedule. So this is how you would actually travel to different locations. It acts just like a train schedule. But this, well, 1 has no thrusters and 2 is never going to move likely. You could actually do it though. Like you can technically make your space science on a platform that moves, and it potentially would be able to be made faster because more asteroids actually generate like while you're moving. So you could do that. It's just you would have to like do like trips or something and then drop off the space science. But for quite a while, it's going to last us just fine having this orbit the planet up here. But there's a few things we need to do now. So so you can see we're now in a remote view, and this basically gives us access to like everything that we've unlocked at least, right? And you can then just like build with it. But I want to actually go out of this really quick because I want to show you space science. All right, so we need an item collector. So this is where we need to like actually start doing stuff. And then just doing that unlocked all of this stuff, right? So cargo bay, which is a way to expand the cargo landing pad and the thing up on the platform. You also have your asteroid collectors, which is how you're going to harvest the asteroid pieces, and then your crushers, which is how you take those asteroid pieces and crush them into this stuff where you actually get your materials. So you get like iron ore and a 20% chance for like the chunk back, carbon, same thing for the chunk back, and then ice. And this is how you're going to make your space science pack. Now, one interesting thing is previously in like a few builds before this, they actually required uranium-235 as part of the recipe for a space science pack, and then they removed it. I just wanted to mention that because I thought it was interesting, and it's kind of, now you know. But also, I kind of miss it. I really a little bit disagree with their decision to remove it because I liked the fact that it actually gave uranium like a good use, because it still seems like a bit overabundant on Nauvis. I mean, I turned mine down quite a bit, and even then I have 3.1 million, 4.7 million, and then the one I'm mining in base. And really all you need it for now is nuclear, which is actually even less important because after you get to a QoL, you actually get fusion power, right? That they showed in the Friday facts and such. And like after that point, why would you use nuclear? And I mean, you do need it for like, I guess, uranium ammo, which is quite good in space. So you would be making it for that. But that's only 238. Like, what are you going to do with the 235? There's nothing to do with it. Because once you get fusion power, like, you don't need nuclear power. So there's literally nothing to do with it. I don't know. That's my little rant for this video, but I really kind of miss that was in there because it was a nice use, right? Like it actually gave you a reason to set up Kovarex process at a larger scale and like have 235 being consistently made, you know? It it just is a little unfortunate to me. But anyway, I'm going to shut up and we're going to make this. So I need some LDS. We will be automating these things, of course, but I hadn't unlocked them yet. So we're going to make some of these and then... okay, so the bot should be able to bring that over here. We actually have 2 rockets ready to go too. So this one I'm actually going to turn this on so that we can actually accept requests from the space platform. And then if you go to your map view, oh, something else I didn't show yet here. I did show it in my overview video, but, or actually no, I didn't. I didn't even show it in that. I showed it in the spoiler thing. Well, it's a spoiler now, I guess, but it's not that big of a spoiler. It's the space map. So this is super cool, right? I don't I don't think anyone should be upset about this. This is pretty, yeah. So you have Vulcanus, Nauvis, Fulgura, Gleba, and then QoL. This is just nice. It kind of shows you like how you get to each one. So for example, you cannot go from Nauvis directly to a QoL, or a QoL directly to Vulcanus, or Vulcanus to Fulgura. You have to like pass through Nauvis first. Just like an interesting tidbit there. But anyway, if we go over here, then we can actually start building this. So I'm gonna grab, you can come in here and do it, or you can just like queue over it, which is super nice. And we need to set this up. So it doesn't need to be huge. And you can see, oh man, this is one of my favorite like animations in the entire game now. It just looks so good. And then if we go here, you can see this requesting, and it's not enough to fill in rockets. So this is an important note. And this did throw us for a loop a little bit at the LAN party, at least myself and a few other people. Like, it won't launch a rocket until it has a full stack of the item being requested, even if you're not requesting a full stack, if that makes sense, right? Because I'm only requesting 12, but it's not going to launch a rocket until, like, there's a full stack. So that's just something worth noting that may be, like, a little bit not intuitive at first. Okay, I'm just going to build this out, like, the edges a little bit initially. I know this is going to require a lot of platform, but I want to make sure we have room for our processing. I know this one's going to be super boring, but, you know, we're barely ever going to look at it after this, and it doesn't need to move, so there's really no reason to be making it, like, any special shape or anything, because it's just going to sit here. So if we collect up here, and then it comes to... Okay, so for now we're going to do that, and then we're going to see how we can fit this stuff in. So these asteroid collectors collect asteroids. And you can see they have a pickup range here, right? So it can kind of like wrap too. You can see that it comes around, and you do have to like make sure that it can actually read. So I'm going to be really simple, and I'm just going to place 2 of them right here. And this is requesting that. Okay, am I like... request for space platforms. How come this is not requesting? Interesting. Like I said, I'm still getting used to... Oh, wait, is it not in the Robo Network? Ah, or wait. Oh, is it? Wait, isn't that in the Robo Network? Yeah, it is. Oh, well, that didn't actually place down. That's like, isn't that... I'm like 90% sure that's in the Robo Network. Interesting. I feel like that's got to be the issue. You should still be requesting them though, no? Auto request missing IO. Yeah. That's what I want. Oh, interesting. Okay. That's new. Like, you would think they would request even if it's not on the network. Obviously, it wouldn't get them, but you would think it would at least request them. Huh. I definitely never built a silo in my play so far that was not in the network already. So This is the first time I'm experiencing this together. Because like if you build a requester chest, right, and then set requests, like it's still going to request the stuff even if it's not in the network. So I expected a silo to work the same. But you can see, once this comes up here, it's gonna drop stuff in, and then it's gonna start building itself out. Oh my god, doesn't that look awesome? So we're requesting quite a lot of this, but that's okay. And there's no robots up here. So there's no robots, and there's no, well, there's just no robots. So you have to stick to belts and inserters, and then, like, the thing will just build itself. You also need power. So for this to actually work, I'm going to need some sort of power, which I should probably get making. It's going to have to be solar, because building steam is going to be, like, fairly ridiculous, I think. All right, copper, steel. This is another one of those things where copper and steel. Couldn't I just build this like over here? Is there something else that needs steel and circuits and copper? Yeah, not really. Okay, well, I'm gonna build these here. We don't need a ton of these. It's not a super high power usage to make the space science. So we're just gonna grab that. Throw those in there, throw that in there, collect a few more of these, and then ideally what you would actually do, hold up, just chill for a minute. We are going to make, how many can this take? 4. I'm gonna make some quality modules, because like if you can just get like 1 or 2 uncommon quality solar panels, that actually helps so much. And then, I don't know why I'm not requesting this. I do have this stuff in the network. It's pretty dang good, which does bring up the subject of quality. So I'm playing with it on because I personally love the whole concept of quality and how it works. But this is an option that you can turn off. It's basically like a mod. So if you don't want to have it in your game, like, period, you can just turn it off. Or you could leave it on just in case, and you just never have to actually use it or research it. That's totally an option too. But I'm going to show you how quality works here within this assembler. We're going to go ahead and set this. Did I just like, oh no, I was like, did I just like rip my solar panel that was in there? All right, so I'm going to throw this in. And I should probably like stick this in here or somewhere. Please take these away and bring them to the silo. Okay. So this is now filled with these quality module 1s, and they're only 1% chance, which is pretty bad, but it's still better than 0% chance. So this now has a 4% chance for a higher quality. So I'm going to dump everything I have in here. It does make it slower by 5% each. So it's actually quite a lot slower. It's now 1%, or sorry, 1 speed, 20%. And it's unlikely we're going to get anything better, but again, it's worth putting them in. The quality modules are pretty cheap, just like any other normal module. And you know, if we could get even just like 1 uncommon solar panel, that'd be pretty sweet. I'm actually going to, yeah, I'm gonna actually have this dump into here, and I'm gonna have it just make however many from that. Oh, interesting. I'm also making these, I think, somewhere. So I couldn't actually automate these because you cannot get like requester chests until you do space science, which is kind of annoying. Oh, we did get one. Heck yeah. Okay. So, see? Told you. So we get this, and you can see the difference. So this is 60. This is 78 kilowatts, which may not make a huge difference, but it does make a difference. Also, the solar like strength on the platform is significantly better than, where does it actually say that? It says that somewhere. The solar strength is actually better on a platform than it is on Nauvis, right? So I'm going to grab the uncommon so you can switch your quality down here. And I'm going to take this and I'm going to place it down there, and it's going to request it. And then I'm going to take these and I'm going to place the rest of them. That may be enough, actually. because you can see it's plus 200%. So this green one gives 234 kilowatts, and then these are 188 kilowatts. It should be more than enough power. Not enough to fill one rocket. Okay, but I definitely would still like you to request these. This is what I'm saying. It's like a little bit annoying because sometimes you have to just do this manually. I'm just gonna request whatever. I'm gonna request all of this and just stick it in there. So you can like manually send it up there, but it's kind of annoying. It won't even request it until you get a full stack, which is quite frustrating. So I'm just gonna stick these in here, and you can see the weight going up. Stick that in there. Stick these in there. What else are we gonna need? We're definitely gonna need inserters. Okay, well, that's all we get, apparently. So we're going to launch, and you can choose your platform you're launching to over here. So we're going to launch to that, and then I'm just going to go to my other silo because I'm really impatient. And I'm going to send, like 2 more solar panels, some belt. Jeez, never mind. We're going to send the belt, and that's it. We get 100 belt. And this one's going to go up as well. Oh, I didn't click the thing. All right, sweet. Space Science Pack finished because we built the collectors up there. And then what else do I want to send? Do I need more than 100 belt? Probably. I'm just going to send this one as well. See, good thing these are so cheap. I've already launched like 5 rockets. And then we need definitely some chests. There's no reason to have requester or provider chests up there. And then we need several assemblers. I'm gonna do like 6, and then shoot, we actually need another crusher too, because we need the 3 different processing things. Now, one thing you could do is we do have the ability now with the even with the free 2.0 update, is being able to change machine recipes with the circuit network. So like, I don't actually know if I can do this properly. We're gonna find out. Anyone who's been on this channel for a while knows I'm not great with circuit control. Set recipe. So if you go here and you tell this to make that, read ingredients, read contents. I apparently set the recipe from the first valid recipe signal, or the first valid item signal, or the first valid entity. I mean, that's kind of what I'm doing, though. Oh, right, it's a chemical plant. I'm just stupid. I don't know why I thought I placed in the assembler. Whoops. Why don't we have it do this, then? There we go. So you can do that. And so what my point here is you could actually have your crushers change recipe, like, based on reading belts with circuitry. I'm probably not going to do that because I don't know if I can make that work correctly, at least not right now. Actually, we need some long-handed inserters for sure, I think, for this. Okay, so we've got that. Oh, we need splitters for sure. Definitely need some splitters. I don't know how many undergrounds I sent up there, but we might as well just fill the rest of this with platform. Probably going to need more platform than that, but I'm going to turn this back on, and we're going to go up here. Okay, great. So we have these grabbies, and they have a bit of an inventory. Now, you can filter this too, which is really nice. So if I wanted, I could filter it, but I'm not going to. It can just grab whatever it wants, I think is fine. And now we're going to start building. So we have 3 different materials we need to be taking off. Now, I could do 3 different belts, or I could... I think I want to do 3 different belts. I know there's cleaner ways to do this. Actually, no, no, never mind. I have a different idea. Okay, so we're gonna do this, and I'm gonna actually, I had all my blueprints, but I'm gonna go ahead and set this up really quick. Sweet. All right. And you also don't need power poles either. This whole thing is just auto-powered, which is super nice. So if you click here and show electric network, you can see the usage. We should be totally fine. And then this is gonna come over and I think I'm going to merge them with a splitter rather than side loading. And then what we're going to do is come here. And wow, now we need crushing. So we're going to come here. And we're going to do our crushing. So how do I want to do this? Kind of like do this maybe. And then send it. Yeah, we're definitely gonna need to be expanding our platform. Okay. How much do we have? I think we're out. We have 13. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is we need to build some filter inserters though, or filtering inserters. Every inserter can now filter. And we want to basically just select this for every one of these. You could, again, probably circuit control this if you feel that you know how to do that properly. But I'm going to go ahead and filter this to only grab these for that recipe. This one is only going to grab those. And then this one is only going to grab the ice chunks. So we got that, okay? So now what's going to happen is it's going to output these respective things. And do I want to send this stuff back through, I wonder? Interesting. Okay. It's going to take some experimentation. So this is going to filter again to iron. And then this is going to filter to carbon. And then this is going to filter to ice. Boom. Easy peasy. And this is going to come over, and then we do need to turn this, I believe, into actual iron. So we actually need smelters up here, which kind of sucks. Now you could do electric furnaces, which I'm really tempted to do because we have so much like available power. You could also do burners though, because carbon can actually act as a burnable. And is this, okay, cool. So we're going to send this out, and we're going to bring this, we can probably merge. So that outputs there. I'm going to just do something like that. These building animations are so beautiful. So that's gonna like consist of a belt of these two things, and then this needs to go somewhere to be smelted. So I'm gonna see if I can make, oh, we don't even need that. We only need like one of these for sure. I'm gonna put, why don't we use this one? Put that in there, and then put these in there, and then maybe some more belt too. We're gonna launch that. I know this video is pretty long at this point, but you know, it's first episode, and I want to make sure we can get some stuff done. So this is going to come over, and this is going to build, where's my furnace? I'm going to come over here. So let's actually, we don't even need that. I was going to have, how do I want to do that? Hold on. I want to do that. This is like thinking through some, because you're going to have a chance to output the chunks again. So I'm debating how I actually want to handle that, as well as like the excess of these, because if you back up and you start running out of one kind, you're obviously going to not be able to make space ions anymore. Actually, I'm going to switch this. And then we're going to take this and go here. Oh, that's also annoying. Dang it. That's also annoying. Okay, I'm just like redoing all this apparently. Okie doke. So this one is going to output. It's going to be on the far side. Well, this one actually needs to go like somewhere to be smelted. And then this one is going to output, and that's going to be on the far side. And then this one, because Because I want to make sure this doesn't place on the belt, you know? I think I'm actually just going to have this go like out here or something. It's a little wonky. I'll probably make this significantly better. And then this is going to come over. I think I'm actually going to underground this one instead. Yeah, that's going to be better because what we want to do is have this come over and then just send any excess like back onto here. And then this comes over and this is going to smelt. So let's back that up. And then smelting. So that goes over. This is going to smelt. And do that. Boom. And then we're going to output. And we do need to filter this too. Don't forget that. So this comes over. That's going to be on that belt. This is going to come over to this belt. And these actually probably need to scooch a little bit. Maybe even straight down. Because we then need an assembler to make a space science. And that's going to go there. And that one's going to go here. And we should be in good shape. Boom. Easy peasy. And then all we need to do is just filter these so that we're not sticking the wrong stuff on the belts. And we should be pretty much ready to go with this. As soon as I'm not going to connect that until I actually filter these. Otherwise, we're going to have a really bad time. And this comes... Oh, wrong button. This comes over here. Gets that. And then this one is going to do ice. This one is going to do carbon. And this one is going to do iron ore. Boom. And then we're going to do this. And they're only going to grab the ones they need. We do have this happening, though. So what we're going to do at this point is I could send them back around. Actually, that might be a good idea. Power might be struggling. Power is struggling because I'm stupid and use an electric furnace. But we are making space science. So now you get 5 space science per one of these, which is like not a ton. But once you actually make this work properly, this is pretty dang good. So we're actually blocked on output here, which is kind of funny. But I need to change this so that this only outputs, like, if the belt is under a certain... I don't want to do that, though. See, I'm, like, not great at monitoring belts. Read belt contents. Items are on the belt. Signals sent continuously as long as the items on the belt or indirectly connect belts in front and in the back. That's probably close enough. And then we're going to say, like, enable, disable if... I assume this is just S. Control signal. Okay, if S is less than 2. I think I'm doing this wrong. I'm going to mess with this off camera because this is clearly, like, definitely not working. I'm definitely doing this wrong. Yeah, I'm definitely doing this wrong. But that's going to do it for this one, everyone. We do have space science being made, albeit slowly because I did not do power correctly. But we can go ahead and, like, expand our power up here because I did send more solar panels up. And that should go ahead and fix the issue. I'm going to see if I can grab another one here. And this is outputting to here. And then you can see there's 50 space science. And then if we go back to the planet, once we actually build our cargo landing pads which I didn't have concrete for, then we can request it. And we will do that at the beginning of next episode. But thank you all so much for watching. I do apologize for any of my like little blunders. This is like the third or fourth video I've recorded today, and I would do editing, but I actually don't think I have time to get this edited and processed and uploaded before I need to release it. But in future, I will definitely probably not be quite as just flustered and tired from doing so many videos. But that's going to do it. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed and are looking forward to the next episodes and Space Age in general. I'm really excited to get things, kind of, escalating and growing here and decide which planet we want to go to first. Definitely need to think on that. And I would love to hear any like questions you have, if there's any thoughts and questions you have about Space Age or anything I showed or didn't show, and suggestions on how to make that belt work properly. Like I said, I'm very bad at circuit control. Definitely need to get better at that. But if you did enjoy, a like is very much appreciated. If you are new and not already subscribed to the channel, feel free to do so to keep up with all future episodes of this series and other Space Age content as well. And until next time, I look forward to seeing you all, and do take care.